as a way of talking about reviewing, revising, refining what we say. I'm going to take what I got started with Picasso and look at what I've got and realize that it can get better. And so let's review really what I did and what I have. I asked to suggest graphics that reflect Pablo Picasso's evolving style, and I want to make a presentation for teenagers. And then it suggested ways to create an engaging presentation. I wanted to get the URLs to relevant pieces of art, and I wanted it reduced to 8 slides. So being very specific helped me get what I could use. And I wanted to make sure that public domain art was used so that I wouldn't have any copyright issues. And this is what I asked it to format in Markdown code. And so the Markdown is what we see on the right side. And there's a structured presentation. And honestly, I looked at that and said, good, let's pop it into CueCam. On closer reflection, when I look at it in the text editor, I've got URLs for each slide. Now I've really looked at what I have in front of me, and I can see I can refine my presentation. In particular, I don't want all of that text up on my teleprompter. I want to make some of it just as notes, and I want to reference the artwork that is in the URLs that were suggested. So there's some review involved there. And I want to be able to clean up the presentation so that it looks good. So here's my presentation, and I want to get rid of this little artifact that says Markdown code. This was given to me and it persisted, but I'm going to take that out. We've got this information about Pablo Picasso that I want to comment out, and I can do that by just doing a couple of slashes. I'm going to copy that URL and I'm going to make that into a website reference. Copy, paste. This is the Center for Picasso Studies. This is a great spot to have as a first step. Now that I've got that one in place, I can go through each card and add the artwork that was suggested in my research and then really hone down what is up on the teleprompter and what is background notes. As I work through this text, I'm bringing out the elements that I want on my teleprompter and then the URL that I want to trigger when I go to this slide. The other elements I'm commenting out. So this artwork area here, I'm going to just slash and it's out, commenting it out. And I can't scroll that, so I'm going to go back to my text editor and grab that URL. We're now into the birth of Cubism. That's my URL. And let's go into the browser and just make sure that it works. MoMA, there we go. So here's my script. I want to share a website. I paste in that website and I am good, I think. Let's make sure. There we go. Going down to neoclassicism. So I'm learning about him by doing this work. It's fascinating to think that my learning style is deeply connected to creating things. So we'll start at the Institute of Picasso Studies, which really looks at a tremendous amount of influences and times in his life. The blue period was between 1901 and 1904, and a couple of tragic moments in his life. When he was 14, his younger sister died, and that was a big shock. And then in his early 20s, his best friend committed suicide, and he entered what is called the blue period. This was followed by the rose period, and some attribute this to his lover at the time. Here he's 30 to 40 years old. He invented Cubism, this style of painting, break objects into geometric shapes. And in other words, there's problem solving going on here. Take a big problem, break it into pieces, build each piece, and what you get is a whole. And then into his 50s, he surprised the world. He returned to classics, emphasizing harmony and stability. And then surrealism comes about. The bombing of Guernica inspired this famous political work showing the horrors of war. And later on, he became known for his childlike representations, experimenting with ceramics and sculpture. This piece is self-portrait facing death. So his legacy leaves us with this open-eyed look at the world around us. And that legacy is with us today and can be brought into meetings or classrooms in a way that students can feel attached, because we're using this kind of a presentation